Welcome back to part 37 video where we're going to continue working on converting fractions into decimals and then decimals into percents. All right. I want to show you here another example. We have 5/7 or 5/7 as a fraction. Remember, every fraction is a division problem. So 5 divided by 7, right? To the right of the 5 is an invisible decimal. I'm going to show that decimal, okay? And to the right of that decimal are a billion, million, trillion zeros. We only need 4 of them, right? And I'm an instructor, so these are my invisible zeros, right? Dot, 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 dot. I could write these whole, but I'm an instructor, right? And so I want to show the decimal, and to the right of the decimal are an infinite number of zeros. For this example, I'm only going to use 4. I could spend a lifetime writing all the zeros to the right of that decimal, but I don't need to do it, okay? So, what number times 7 gets me closest to 5? Right? We're going to do some long division here. Well, there's no number, right? That's my dot, 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 invisible 0. And if you've been watching my videos, I talk a lot about invisible ones, invisible decimal, invisible zeros, right? So in mathematics, you're supposed to remember that all this stuff is there. And many instructors expect you to remember that. So I'm going to review and remind you. There's a decimal to the right of the 5, a million, billion, trillion zeros to the right. You're going to, when you divide, you're going to raise the decimal above the divisor bar and it stays there the whole time. All right, so 7 times no number will give me 5. Well, what about 50? 5 and 0. Well, I know 7 times 7 is 49, right? So I'm going to subtract 49 from my target, 50. Okay, so 50 minus 49 leaves me a remainder of 1. I'm going to bring down that 0 all the way down here and turn that 1 into 10. All right? So 7 times what number gives me closest to 10? Well, 7 times 1 is 7. So I'm going to take that product. It's an answer to a multiplication problem. 7 times 1. I'm going to subtract 7 from 10. Okay, so I subtract the product of 7, right? Because 7 times 1 is 7. Product's the answer to a multiplication problem. I'm going to subtract 7 from my target value of 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. I'm going to take the next value, which is 0. I'm going to bring it all the way down, and my new target is 30. So 7 times what number gets me closest to 30 without going over? Okay, so if you said 7 times 4 gets me closest to 30 without going over, you're absolutely correct. What is 7 times 4? All right, so if you said 7 times 4 is 28, you're absolutely correct. I'm going to subtract 28 from the 30, and that gives me a value of 2. So I'm going to take this 0 that's up in here, my last 0 to the right, I'm going to bring it all the way down and turn that 2 into a 20. So 7 times what number gets me closest to 20 without going over? All right, if you said 2, you're absolutely right. 7 times 2 gives me 14, which is less than 20. Let's subtract 14 from 20. Okay, so 7 times 2 is 14. 20 minus the 14 gives me a remainder of 6. Now, I could keep going on bringing down zeros, and I could keep going on and on and on, but I have enough digits in my decimal answer to create a percentage. Okay, so you can see here, for all intents purposes, 5/7 is equal to 0.7142. Okay, so I have my decimal value, for our intents and purposes, of what 5/7 is equal to. 5/7 is equal to 0.7142. All right, so I want you to see here how 5/7 is equal to 0.7142, which is equal to 71.4%. If I was to take this decimal, move it 1 2 times to the right, I will get 71.4%. Because the number to the right of 4 is less than or smaller than 5, I can just eliminate it here. However, if this number 2 happened to be 5 or larger, I would have rounded up that 4 to a 5. So we're not talking about rounding up right now. We're only talking about converting a decimal, moving it 1, 2 places to the right, add the symbol, and you have your equivalent values. You have 5 sevenths is equal to 0.7142, which is equal to 71.4%. Hey, stick around for part 38 video. I got some more examples. I promise you this next example is going to be much, much easier. I started off with a difficult one first. But the good news is if you're understanding this, you're going to understand the other examples. Remember, math is easy. Take it step by step. Thank you for joining me. Please like, follow, share, subscribe. If I've helped you, please help me to help others. Thank you for your time.